Friends, I am so excited and delighted and also honored to introduce you to my next guest. I had the opportunity to sit with the one and only Dr. Bhante Saranapala. Bhante is a Buddhist monk whose teachings and wisdom are surrounded by the message of mindfulness and kindness. Now, Dr. Bhante actually goes on social media by the Urban Buddhist Monk. So I highly recommend you following his social media handles, where he provides so much education all over the globe around the simple basic opportunities for us to be mindful, to be kind, and what the secret is to living a happy life. We do live in this world that can be noisy. We could feel like life is complicated. And I truly believe, just from this conversation alone, where I had an opportunity to sit with Bhante, little nuggets, little gems of wisdom that come from him today on this episode, I truly believe will change your life. So enjoy the show. Make sure that you subscribe. And if something hit your heart like it did me, I encourage you to share his wisdom, share this conversation with those that may just need a simple reminder of what it means to be happy. And I just hope you enjoy. Hi, friends, and welcome to Lucy Smiles Living Room podcast. I'm your host, Diane Lozo. Today is a very special day. I'm so genuinely honored and excited to be sitting with Dr. Bhante Saranapala. Bhante is a Buddhist monk and also the representation for Canada. He also has created a very beautiful initiative years ago around making Canada a more kind and mindful nation. And so before we get started chatting in the living room with Bhante, I just want to share a little bit about Bhante. Bhante is the urban Buddhist monk. So many people will know him as the urban Buddhist monk. He is also the founder and president of Canada, a mindful and kind nation. He has a slew of awards that he has been given. Some of them, but not all of them, include being a recipient of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms from the Government of Canada. Also, the Canada 150 Medal Community Award, the Spirit Award, also from the Government of Canada. He's also been awarded the 2024 Dr. Ambedkar Peace Award. And Dr. Bhante has also been not only in Canada, but all over the world as a global speaker. Canada, North America, Europe, and also his universal message, not only speaking universally, his universal message is around love, kindness, peace, compassion, understanding as a global speaker, and also has been in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada for almost or over 30 years. And he'll explain more about his whole journey as a native of Sri Lanka, and also has been appointed the World Civility Ambassador Award from I Change Nations. And I would love for Bhante to share more about those beautiful awards that he has been gifted through his genuine voice and his message around compassion, kindness, and joyful mindfulness. So Dr. Bhante Saranapala, I am so honored to speak with you today. I'm honored to share not only your journey, but also your wisdom and an opportunity to have my audience understand more about who you are, what it is that you do, and also, even most importantly, where you came from to get to where you are. So, as I had mentioned to you behind the scenes, my Lucy Smiles Living Room podcast is an opportunity to showcase and chat with those that have followed their Dharma, those that have allowed themselves to really understand what is their passion, what is their purpose. And also, I'll actually share before we get started, Bhante has this beautiful WhatsApp group where every morning when I wake up, I get daily inspirations. And today it said, and I would like for you to maybe share your post for today around purpose, peace, and what that means. And so, Dr. Bhante Saranapala, I'm so honored. And I'm just looking forward to sitting with you today.
Yeah, thank you, Diane, for this beautiful conversation, and congratulations on your new podcast, Lucy
Mhm.
Smiles Living Room podcast. I think I really love it, and the whole design is a beautiful design.
Oh,
And beside you, on your right, I see Be Kind. On your left is the Joy. So today, what we
mhm.
are going to have is just a kindful and joyful conversation.
I love it.
And I'm very happy to see you. And of course, I'm missing Anthony. I don't know where he is now. And both of you have been very close to me for many years in Canada, and you even helped me for our annual Kindful Canada Symposium, which is the national conference on mental health and kindfulness. And you and Anthony helped me as coordinators, and because of amazing, kindful people like you, the country, the nation, the world is becoming a better place for everyone. And of course, as you know, my whole purpose is to bring the people together, and I really love people, as you know. I really
Mhm.
love people. Although I'm a Buddhist monk, I'm not here to promote any particular religion or belief or cultural values. I have embraced all sentient beings as human beings, and all I know that everybody, it doesn't matter who they are, what religion or culture or political background they belong to, every human being desires happiness, and everybody wants to be happy. All sentient beings want to be happy. So my mission is to add more happiness and joy through a global principle I have developed. Is called a kindfulness. And my global mission is to call every country a mindful and kind nation. So starting
Mhm.
from Canada, officially I call Canada mindful and kind nation. So and I know, Diane, you're living in Mexico now.
Yes,
And so one day we could call Mexico a mindful and kind nation program.
I'm ready.
Yeah, so this is my mission, so everywhere I go, every country I go, I do a session under the theme, a mindful and kind nation. So
Mhm.
today, what we can do is just maybe have this friendly conversation. I know there are a lot of people in the world who are searching some kind of ways of improving their life, and so there are people who who are remaining, maybe suffering silently, and those who have the courage, they come to us in person. But there are a lot of people who are seeking some help outside, maybe through this kindful and joyful conversation between you and me, Diane. I'm pretty sure at least some people are going to benefit. Some people
Yeah.
are going to find light and hope
Mhm.
through this conversation. Yeah,
I love that. I
yeah,
want to touch on something, Bante, that you had just mentioned, because I have been blessed to not only take courses around Buddhism and kindness through you,
yeah,
which were so powerful and very impactful and transformational for my own life. I do also know through working with you in Canada, you had shared with me as I would visit your temple, I would see people coming out on their own, and you would say, I just had a private counseling session with someone.
yeah,
You would never share anything about obviously your private
yeah,
counseling, but I didn't know until you had mentioned to me that
yeah,
you were actually counseling and supporting people.
yeah,
Now I would love for you, because I think the biggest thing that you said right now, well, you've said many amazing things, is the silent silently suffering.
Yeah.
Many people don't realize that they have tools, they have practices available to them. And for me, this is the reason why we are having this conversation.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share for those that are listening and saying, I didn't know that this is an option? Can you share some of the things that you were able to experience through supporting others, how compassion, mindfulness, prayer, and meditation have helped those that you have privately helped? And I have been at Celebration Square in Mississauga. So we're also talking thousands of people
Yeah.
in meditation through your beautiful leadership. Can you touch on that and what that has looked like for those that found the light through your work, Bhante?
Yeah. Oh, well, then that's a good question. I normally brag of myself. I don't advertise myself. It's just I just keep doing things for the people, and people get to know me and whatever I do daily, weekly through the word of mouth. I started doing the student counseling first at U of T, University of Toronto,
Mhm.
and I knew students made appointments with me, and they were talking about a lot of issues, maybe what they were going through, and so what I did uh, by the river now, I think my biggest therapy is being there for them, listening to their story without judging them, and embracing them with kindness. And once I listen to this story, then I think I know what they're going through. I think I know what they're looking for. So I kind of share some ancient wisdom, maybe tell them some story, and tell them some words of, I would say, wisdom or light, to see the light in their life, because they're in a state of darkness, and they're looking for a way to get out of that darkness and to see the light, and find hope,
Mhm.
and so my task as the urban Buddhist monk, I mean, I wouldn't label myself as the therapist or psychologist or
Mhm.
psychotherapist or counselor. I mean, people could call me anything, but I call myself as the urban Buddhist monk. I think
Yes.
I'm fully aware of the urban setting issues, the problems, and so I just open the door for them.
Right.
I say, door to my center is open for you. You can, if you're seeking the light, you can come and find the light. So my job is to show them the way how
Mm.
to find the light and hope. And so there are so many stories I can tell you. And I think one famous story, I talk about this gentleman because it's not a secret anymore.
Mhm.
Both of us have been featured by the CTV National News in Canada.
Mhm.
And you probably have heard about him, Ryan Joseph. You know him, maybe you have met him. So this is the man, a young man. He's a model. He's a child psychologist, a very interesting person. So he was going through some kind of issues, and he was seeing a doctor, and so when he became kind of suicidal, and he started harming himself, and it was a doctor who also has come to my weekly meditation sessions, and he said, why don't you go and see this Buddhist monk? And so then he said, oh, that's a good idea. So he got the address and he came here. And when he came here, of course, he harmed himself actually. So and it was our chief monk who opened the door for him. He got scared too. And then I was doing some work in my room. He said, "There's a young man looking for you, but his condition is like this, and it's terrible." So I stopped all my work. I went to the front door and to receive him, and then I saw him, in that bad shape, and he was shivering. I said, "Okay, don't worry, come in. Let's go to the meditation hall and let's sit down and talk." So we sat down. I said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine. Just take some deep breaths and relax. Let's talk." And I think having a friendly conversation is very important. And so he told me this story, and at the end of it, he was kind of relaxed, and I knew what he was looking for. Then I gave him some hope, through the stories, through the words, and he was kind of relieved and relaxed at that moment. And in addition to that, I think professional therapy, psychotherapists, psychologists, or counselors wouldn't do this. But I'm a Buddhist monk, so I want to show my kindness in action. So I said, "Would you like to have a cup of tea with me?" He said, "Yes." And so our famous kitchen. So
I
I
was
took
going to say your tea is not your average tea. I've had
so
it many
I,
times.
I took him to the kitchen, and I made a nice cup of tea for him, and also gave him whatever we had, some cookies and some sweets, and then after the tea, actually, he was very much relieved. And so I encouraged him to continue coming to the my weekly meditation sessions or Dharma talks. And in addition to that, I said, he asked me whether he could see me at least 2 weeks, 2 times a week. I said, no problem, because I knew he wanted some help. So I gave him some extra time. And so we had nice conversations, and he kept coming to my Dharma talks and meditation sessions. Though it was very difficult for him at the beginning to spend 1.5 hours with the group, then he saw the other people, how they were into meditation, how they were uh, mindful and listening to the talk I gave. And then he was, I think, looking around. Maybe he thought there are other people who also going through the same, like me, but they also had to find help from Bhante, because he knows me now.
Yeah.
So and then he kept coming, and then he recovered from maybe that was a deep depression he was in that darkness. So and then he continued coming to my Wednesday session. So his friends
Yeah.
saw him different. Now the man who was in darkness suddenly started smiling and became joyful, and they were curious to know how he recovered from that dark depression. So he started telling this story, and so because of him, some other people found hope and saw the light, and then they also started coming to my weekly sessions with him, with Ryan. So because of this, in Canada, every year in the month of January, how they make a huge awareness of mental health.
Yes.
You see in the huge billboards, you see bell ad, let's talk.
Yeah.
So during that month, the CTV national CTV's journalist Avis Favero, who is a health journalist, a very famous figure in Canada,
Hmm.
uh, heard about him, Ryan, and she wanted to feature him to give a hope and light to people across Canada. And when they were having this interview at Ryan's house, Ryan actually said one thing to Avis, this journalist. I'm I'm still living because of this Buddhist monk.
Oh,
And then this journalist was curious. Who is this Buddhist monk? What kind of technique did he use to
yeah.
save your life?
Right.
And so she said, can we talk to him? He said
Hmm.
yes. So after his interview, Ryan actually called me, and I was here at the temple. So he came with the journalist to the temple, and so we had another nice conversation here. So then Avis Favero, CTV's journalist, featured me and him together in that story. So that became a very powerful story, and people across Canada actually contacted me uh,
Right.
for counseling sessions, and so they also asked me like how much I charge for one session. Then I said, "Don't worry about the money thing. I'm just here to help you, and later on, once you feel recovered or feel happy, and if you think you have benefited from uh, my spiritual sessions, the counseling sessions, then you could voluntarily make a donation towards my humanitarian projects in some
Hmm.
countries."
It's beautiful.
So uh, just like Ryan, and there were many actually
Hmm.
within and our community, beyond our community, and people across Canada. Also, people from the states
Hmm.
also contacted me, and we had the Zoom counseling sessions, one-on-one session.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So
Wow.
and so this is so there are so many stories like that, but I don't like to talk about other people, but since because
Yeah.
this is the famous story, uh,
Yeah.
so that's why I mentioned his name, and,
Hmm.
and so because I also invited him to our annual conference to talk
Hmm.
about his journey to healing. Last year at the Aga Khan Museum, during our conference, he did a good job, and people
Wow.
were inspired.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Do you happen to have that clip? Maybe I could add it to our show notes to share with people if that's something that you want to share.
yeah, it
Since
should
it's
be there.
already public.
Maybe later
Yeah.
on, I can forward that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also failed to mention as well as part of just a snippet of who you work with is that you're actually also the Buddhist chaplain for the Toronto Police Department.
that's right. Yeah,
So I would love if you could touch on that before we go into the backside of your story of how did you get to where you are. So
uh,
can you share a little bit about how that happened for you? Because I know that there were a couple of the Toronto police that actually spoke at the symposiums as
yeah,
well. You've done some tremendous work with them. If you want to touch
yeah.
on that.
No, thank you, Dan, for bringing up this. Do you remember in 2016, one of my mindfulness session with Canadian police, Peel
Yeah.
Regional Police,
Yep.
went viral in the world. Even the CNN featured this program, this
Yeah.
program, and suddenly people started talking about it because those pictures became so powerful.
Mhm.
There are so many officers in uniform with gun and button
Yeah.
in the meditation hall, practicing meditation in front of me.
Yeah.
So people found that so inspiring.
Mhm.
And so because of that, uh, um, police departments across Canada, and also some police departments in the States, contacted me to offer the same session for their members, which I did for some years. Even now, I continue doing that.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, Toronto Police Service organized a wellness day,
Mhm.
because the current the chief of police of Toronto is prioritizing the health and wellness of all the members of the Toronto Police Service.
Mhm.
And for the first time, they had this wellness day for the members of the Toronto Police Service. And so they contacted me as one of the potential keynote speakers. And the director of this health unit came to me, and we talked about all this stuff. And then I said yes to them. And so I made a very powerful, I will say, I made a presentation on
Mhm.
health and wellness for police officers. And by then there were more than 360 police officers. And so I told them two stories, and shared with them some meditation techniques. And we had a guided meditation session, like all these officers meditating together.
Oh.
That was a different environment, by the way.
Mhm.
And so they they highly talked about their experience with meditation.
Yeah.
And so then they approached me to see whether I could help them as a Buddhist chaplain. I think even now Toronto Police opened their department to have the chaplains from all faith traditions. So they did not have a Buddhist chaplain. So after this presentation, they thought I am the right fit for that position.
Wow.
And so I said yes to them. And now, in addition to uh, doing some official work in the ceremonies, saying some universal grace and prayers. So my task is to this is what I'm telling them. Even day before yesterday, the chief of police actually made a powerful, very impactful presentation on his life. What he went through, and how he recovered. And he is encouraging
Mhm.
the police officers to try incorporating wellness programs into their life, because what they are seeing is not the good stuff, positive things.
You're right.
And so I am trying my best, through my presence. I'm bringing them maybe some hope and light, and hey, I'm here if you would like to talk to me.
Mhm.
And so I'm also trying to initiate some mindfulness sessions, for meditation sessions, for every division of Toronto Police Service. And so they are working on that. And
Mhm.
so people are definitely interested in this. They know that they need this service, the meditation practices, mindfulness sessions.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
And it's so impactful too, as you'd mentioned, because there's a lot of post-traumatic stress when it comes to being in that industry and in that space. And so you're offering them that peace of mind and
yeah,
also that place that you had mentioned at the beginning of our chat, just around non-judgment. And I think
yeah,
that's one of the biggest keys that I've learned through working with you and understanding the Buddhist philosophy, but also, like you said, it's non-denominational. It's just really global mindfulness and kindness and
yeah.
compassion. So I would love for you to take us way back to the beginning, Bhante. You're from Sri Lanka. You came to Canada. Can you share with us a bit of the journey of what made you be where you are from where
Yeah.
you've become?
Well, actually, Dan, I was born in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
I was and then at the age of 10, I became a novice monk. And then my teacher sent me to Sri Lanka for monastic education training. So that I was brought up and trained in Sri Lanka for almost 11 years. Then I came to Canada in 1994. So, why did I become a monk at such a young age? uh, well, I personally believe uh, I had been a monk in my previous life, and I was very familiar with monastic setting, monastic environment. Um, so that could be one reason, but the major reason for becoming a monk is the traditional Bengali Buddhist practice is that every Buddhist boy should become a monk for a short time.
Mm,
Maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and if you like, you can stay. If not, you can go back home.
mhm,
So, in my case, so I became a novice monk with that intention in mind. But I was fond of monastic life even by then. Uh, my parents are very simple, very spiritual, and very generous and kind. And so was my grandfather. Uh, my grandparents were like that too. My mother's side, I didn't see my father's parents, my grandparents. They died before I was born. But my mother's side, my grandparents, uh, they were very simple, very kind, very generous, very caring, loving, and they like to share. So I remember being with my grandfather, and he, I was curious even by then why he was doing that kind of thing. Like he was a farmer, he would cultivate vegetables and other things, and then he would just on the way to his house, he would just drop by at some houses, and he would give some vegetables, etc., etc. So I saw all this. I said, by then I didn't ask the questions, but kind of felt why he was doing, and I understood the power of that when I grew up. And my monastic teacher, the first monastic teacher, is also like that. He helped so many children by establishing orphanages, and he gave hope and light to so many children, even by making them novice monks and helping them receive education. So, and he continued. My teacher is still actually living. He's going to be 100 years this year.
my goodness.
So, and when I went to Sri Lanka, my high ordination monastic teachers were also like that.
Mhm,
And and in Sri Lanka, my teacher had a slogan. though by those days, it was very famous slogan or kind of motto. That is, if I translate that into English, it would be like this: without fixing the man, the country cannot be fixed. Therefore, let's take action to fix the man, then let's fix the nation.
Wow.
uh,
Beautiful.
yeah. So then that actually uh, caught my attention. I was reflecting on that.
Mhm.
He was like helping everyone, like he embraced all the people, and I think he knew why people were going the wrong direction, and how, and he wanted to save the nation by showing them the guiding them through the right direction, giving them the hope, encouraging them to embrace good values, being kind and compassionate, etc., etc. And my another teacher also established a kind of movement. The name English meaning would be giving the helping hand to those who are helpless. And so I remember doing the soup kitchens in the
Mhm.
hospitals and collecting some items like old clothes, or some school items from the students, one pen or pencil from each student, and then how we distributed them to the displaced people, because Sri Lanka one time was had a civil war, and so we were helping them. So when I came to Canada, I also wanted to do the same thing here. So I
Mhm.
started doing soup kitchen, helping the homeless people. So since 1995, I still continue doing the same thing now.
Mhm.
Uh, in addition to the soup kitchens, I also do the sharing, caring program. Encouraging people. So my way of teaching good values to the young people, especially the youth. I know they are the next generation, right? So they don't want us to preach them, right? Nobody likes to be preached. So
Mhm.
the best you could do is you could create some programs that they really enjoy, and then through that you teach them some great lessons.
Right.
So I would organize the soup kitchens, and we prepare the soup, do the salad, do the bagels, we cook some vegetables, and we serve the nice lunch meal to the homeless people. And at the end of it, then I take them to the worship area, and then we do a reflection at the Good Shepherd Center in downtown Toronto.
Mhm.
So I talk about why we had to do this, and I explained the essence of the good karma we are doing, and then these young people are seeing the reality on the road now,
Right.
and they start coming, wow,
Mhm.
compared to these people, we are having such a privileged life.
Yeah.
And when they see the reality, that's it. Their life begins to change.
It's
At the
amazing.
beginning, I had to basically force them to come and join these programs, but later on, it's
Mhm.
just matter of sending them an email.
You always told me when I first met you, Bhante, that I was like, wow, you're amazing with, social media, your
Yeah,
name being the urban Buddhist monk. And I said, what had you, decide to do that? And you said to me, I know how to find the people.
yeah,
I know how to change the world. I know how to resonate with the
yeah,
people that I need to reach. And so you do it with such love. And
yeah,
I love how you shared your mentors, because what I was hearing from you as you shared and is that you witnessed for your own self first what it meant for people to lead by example, and
yeah,
then that is how you decided to use the model that you're doing, is that don't tell people what to do, show them.
Yeah.
And then when you show them and they decide to do it with you, then they could feel what it feels like to contribute, not telling people to contribute.
Yeah.
So give them that opportunity to have that essence within them. And I think that's really important, because that's how we change the world, is
Yeah.
to lead by example. And you
Yeah.
hear, obviously, be the change, but it's
Yeah.
absolutely true. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really beautiful, how you have been able to create this community that you have in so many different areas, because
Mm-hmm.
you've really touched so many people in so many different ways through the different tools and the different experiences that you have allowed people to join your mission, right? So when I was with you and working with you in person, there were so many opportunities. You can come to the celebration square, you
Yeah.
can come to the full day, where we had thousands of people sitting on the grass. We had people who were keynotes. You're really showing by leading by example. And then I would also come to class at night,
Yeah.
right? When you did your 10 weeks of Buddhist studies in the summer, and then I can also come to a 1 hour meditation on a Wednesday evening at the temple.
Yeah.
And there's so many different, I mean, I'm not even touching on all of the different ways that you have. And then there's also the Canada A Mindful and Kind Nation Symposium.
Yeah.
um how is that? So share a little bit more about that. And is that still moving forward, or what do you have coming up as well that you're really excited about, that you would love to have people join your mission, that we can support you as well?
Yeah. So, thank you for that question. Well, as you know, I try to organize this annual conference dubbed as Kindful Canada Symposium,
Mhm.
and so we are planning to have this year's symposium in mid November,
Oh,
in
wonderful.
November 16th, and so I was looking for some venues. So this time we found a nice venue in Oakville. It's called the Meeting House. Uh,
Oh, wow, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. And so once all the details are confirmed, then I'm going to actually post that in social media.
Mhm,
And so the whole purpose of this symposium is to introduce the people who are doing mindful, kindful activities in various ways,
mhm,
like from all fields, science, First Nation spirituality, psychology background, neuroscience background, medical background, or someone who's changing the world. And if someone has become a voice for the people that is based on kindness, I believe,
mhm,
because that activity is trying to alleviate the pain and the suffering of the people.
mhm,
And so whoever is working on that kind of field, of course, I always invite them.
mhm,
So so it's a kind of the mindful, kindful environment that I try to create in that conference hall, and everybody is interested in the same principle, going the same direction, creating the same energy, same algorithm, and how
Yeah.
people feel relaxed and calm,
Mhm,
how they and at the end of the day, how they go home with a heart full of love, peace, kindfulness,
mhm,
and with biggest smile on their face, and you can see the light in their eyes, and they greatly appreciate. People are very grateful. They say thank you for creating such a great movement. And so this is a way of creating a mindful, kindful community for the well-being of everyone. So, in
right.
addition to the presentations, we also do group meditation, group Tai Chi, practices or qigong exercise, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So people love it, and so I like to be consistent on this program. This is
Yeah.
in addition to what I do, like weekly, day, a monthly, other program, such program. This is a kind
Mhm.
of big impact I try to create, not only across Canada but also in the world through the social media. When we talk
Mhm.
about this, people also want to see the similar program in their own country. So this is because I believe there's a saying, uh, um, thousands of candles can be lit from one candle,
I agree.
or the thousands of miles of journey begins with the first step, right?
Oh,
So it's like first you need to be kindful.
yeah.
So if you're happy, if you're peaceful, if you're kind, and then others around you will be uh,
Mhm.
happy, peaceful, kind. So it's a kind of, I'm encouraging people to become the bridge, of
Yeah.
kindfulness.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're kindful, and then Anthony is going to be kindful. If Anthony is kindful, you're going to be kindful. So
Mhm.
both of you are kindful. What we call the family, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kindful husband and wife, and then from you have a kindful family, and then wherever you go, you have kindful friends, and
Mhm.
they would be interested. Hey, how do you maintain that kindfulness? What's the secret behind it? So when
I'll
you
give them
do,
your number. I'll give them your number. Call Bhante. No,
yeah,
just joking. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
in that
interesting.
way, we can. This is how we build a kindful, mindful, and kind nation.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that. I absolutely believe that. I also love the story of the starfish. I'm not sure if you know the parable of this. Like I'll very much paraphrase it.
Yeah,
But the starfish, there's an old parable story of a little boy on the ocean or on the beach, and there's thousands of starfish up on the beach.
uh,
And the little boy starts to take one and throw it into the ocean. And this old man comes to the little boy and he says, "Oh, silly boy, you're not going to ever be able to make a change. There's thousands of starfish on the," and the little boy looked at the older man and said, "I could do it one at a time."
yeah,
And so I love that story that you're sharing because it really does start at home. It starts with our own self.
yeah,
And then through that, as we know, smiling is contagious. Laughing, I miss your laugh because every time I hang out with you, your beautiful smile and your laugh is just it. How do you not leave with a warm heart?
yeah,
And so I love what you're doing, and I love that you also touched on it's not just Canada. Canada, absolutely.
yeah,
And so you are a global public speaker. You've had people fly you all over the world to give speeches.
yeah,
And I would love to work with you and commit to coming to Mexico and helping to create Mexico, a mindful and kind nation. Is
that
very,
would be
very mindful and
amazing.
very, yeah. I mean, the kindness here is beyond beautiful already, and I really believe that it would be a beautiful mission and project to have you come
Yeah,
here, and this another excuse to hang out.
yeah,
And so I love that you also did touch on, how it is a global initiative that you have been doing, traveling around the world, speaking your mission and your vision. And so how can we in I actually have a question for you that I wanted to make sure to ask you. And I think it's very valuable for us in this day and age is I do believe that it only takes belief
yeah,
in order to make a change as well. And so, in these diverse and unsettling times that we've been all in, all around the globe over the last several years, of just, division and duality and sadness, I'm sure that you have seen, and we spoke about this a few years ago before I left. I would love for you any words of wisdom that you can to support those that maybe have lost their belief, and it doesn't have to be trying to make a massive change, but starting at home and starting with what can we do on a daily basis to remind ourselves that we are the love that we can then radiate outside of us, and we can actually change the world no matter what it looks like on the outside. So
yeah.
I would love for you to touch on that I think it's
Well,
really valuable.
yeah, thank you, Dan, for that question. And actually, you have to always be mindful for the fact that, as I always tell the people, you're bigger than the mountain.
Mm.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. You're a good person. It's like uh, how sometimes I think the modern society is so unkind. Like, if a person does one wrong thing, how they try to make you like you're a piece of I don't want to use that word,
Yeah.
you're not good
Hmm.
at all, and
Right.
they push you into the garbage,
Mhm.
so. But my principle is, my understanding, a person uh, could be bad, let's say 99%. But the same person, though he or she is 99% bad, that person has 1% goodness.
Wow. Hmm.
So now we have to see that positive side, that bright side. So I
Hmm.
always tell people, always look at the bright side of your life.
Hmm.
Don't look at your dark side. So then, uh, if you can recognize the 1% uh, positive side of your life,
Hmm.
let's see whether you can focus on that.
Hmm.
Focus on that, and then you do, or you maybe you can train yourself. This is
Hmm.
in line with modern neuroscience research.
Right.
It's like how um, the very famous neuroscientist Richard Davidson did some research, and he published an article, and there he summarizes a couple of things, and he says, no matter what happened to you, no matter how bad you were, but remember, you can change, transform your life.
Hmm.
In order to bring a positive change into your life, then train yourself with one little good thing.
Wow. That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah, so in the same way, how there's a beautiful metaphor given by the Buddha. That is, when a drop of water keeps falling into the jar or the pot, no matter how big the pot is, and if the drop of water keeps falling into that jar, it's going to be full one day.
Wow.
So, in the same way,
Right.
no matter what happened to you in the past, no matter how bad you were, but believe you have at least 1% goodness. Now see whether you can
Hmm.
increase, maximize that 1% goodness.
I love
So
that.
the beauty, the power of this is that when you choose to maximize 1% goodness by doing one little act of goodness every day, now if you do one act of kindness, one act of goodness a day, how many acts of kindness and good deeds are you doing a year? 365.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing that, then that will be how many?
A lot.
A lot, more than 700 acts of good. So,
Yeah.
what I think is, now you're not feeding the bad mind.
Hmm.
Now you're choosing intentionally, kindfully, you have chosen to feed the good mind.
I love that. And you're also encouraging others by leading by example, and
Yeah,
then you're creating that ripple effect,
that's
right?
right.
So if you know, as an example, say you're going to a coffee shop and you pay for the person behind you, and surprise the person behind you,
Yeah.
what are the odds that that person may not continue to do the coffee purchase, but he may or she may be more prone to opening the door at the
Yeah.
mall for someone because they're in that now we're changing the vibration,
Yeah.
right? We're changing that the frequency
Yeah.
into goodness. And so
Yeah.
I love that's such a beautiful explanation
Yeah.
to bring home to people because
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be huge. It could
Yeah.
be as small as
Yeah.
smiling at someone on the street,
Yeah.
opening the
It's
door
like,
for someone.
maybe wherever you go, maybe let's say at work, you have
Mhm.
your own, let's say, lunch. And if you have someone beside you, hey, would you like to have piece of this?
Mhm. Yep.
You know, that act of kindness is going to change that person.
Yes.
And when that person brings his or her lunch, and he or she is going to do the same to you or to another
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So this
And
is
then
the ripple act of kindness you create.
yeah. And then when they come home, they're happy and then their family's happy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a beautiful thing. Bhante,
yeah,
you are amazing. I am so grateful to connect with you. You have been a huge impact in my life and Anthony's life for the last several years. And I would love to, if you, is there anything that you need regarding your beautiful mindful and kindness symposium coming up in November? I would love to support you in any way that we can. If you're looking for volunteers, if there's
yeah.
anything that we could do to support you, also definitely filling the room. um, how many people do you know how many people the meeting place fits in Oakville? That's so
It's actually
exciting.
300 people.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's the range we normally have.
Yep.
So more than more than 300 people attend. So we are aiming at 300 people. So
Wow.
I think another thing, now people can read my book, Are You Kindful? So that's my mission book.
Yes.
And that book actually, I wrote a lot of stories, a lot of practical,
Mhm.
mental, emotional exercises in making a person mindful and kind, and people can actually read that book to see whether
Mhm.
that person is really kindful or not.
It's the litmus test.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy with you near you or and I'll
uh yeah,
don't worry if you don't. No
yeah, so
worries.
it's somewhere else. I don't
No
have it
problem.
in my
No,
room. Yeah.
I will definitely make sure to get that
Yeah,
into
so
our show
people
notes.
can find it online at Amazon, plus
Okay. Okay.
also Friesen Press publishing company
Right. I'll put that in the show
has
notes.
all the details. People
Right.
can just Google, "Are you kindful?"
Right. I love that because you have
Yeah,
coined the kindful name.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you are definitely all over social media, which makes it easy access to
yeah,
Bhante, to the Urban Buddhist Monk. So where can people find you? And I also want to make sure you remind us your WhatsApp group and how do we get on your daily inspirations? I was personally invited.
yeah,
So how do we get in touch with you on social media? What are your social media handles? I'll put it in the show notes, but
yeah.
to share with others, how can we find you, Bhante?
Yeah, so actually, people can find me on Facebook,
Mhm.
LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. So in the Instagram, they can find me either as Bhante Saranapala or Urban Buddhist Monk.
Yeah.
And in LinkedIn, Facebook, they can find me as Bhante Saranapala.
Mhm.
And I also have my mission website, Canada, mindfulnation.ca.
Right.
And I have my personal website, urbanbuddhistmonk.org.
Mhm.
And they can visit these websites to learn more about our global mission, how to make
Mhm.
a country mindful and kind nation. And if people are really interested in me and what I do, they can always visit my website, urbanbuddhistmonk.org. And of course, in the social media, they can follow me.
Mhm.
And my Facebook is full actually, but people can follow
Yeah.
to get the daily inspiration. So I'm using actually social media not to have fun,
Yeah.
not for bad purpose.
No, we love it.
I'm using social media to bring hope and light to people.
And it's
And
working.
I know that by using social media, I was able to transform many thousands of lives around the world. People
Mhm.
find hope. If I don't post something, my daily post a day, I get a lot of messages. But then now they are concerned. But are you okay? I really see your post today. I
Oh
hope
my
everything's
goodness.
going well.
They're waiting for you. You
Yeah,
know where
so
your audience
that
is.
gives me a lot of joy. Wow, people
Wow.
are really actually following me. They wait for my
Mhm.
daily message.
Absolutely.
And also, I have a WhatsApp group. You can send a message with your number, and then I will add that into my group, the WhatsApp group.
Great.
Yeah. So I think these are the best ways to reach out to me. And if you are in Toronto, if you're visiting Toronto from other countries, you can always visit me at our center, Mississauga, and we
I
can
love
have
that.
a kindful a cup of tea.
Oh, I'm jealous. Well, you never know. Maybe I'll have to fly back and be one of your volunteers again for the November 16th symposium.
That would be amazing.
I I would love to actually.
Yeah, I
So
know you're
beautiful.
also doing amazing, Diane. You also have a nice mission, Lucy Smiles. I know from those days you published a book, and I read your book. Is great how you're bringing hope to people, and I would like to encourage the audience of Lucy Smiles Living Room podcast to read Diane's book, and also and because both of you are amazing human beings. I know Anthony also smiles a lot, like you. Both of you are the perfect match, and and you're doing a great. And so you both of you have all my blessings, and I
Thank you.
would just give my blessings to everyone, and just be kindful. Just embrace kindfulness for your own health and well-being. And as the Dalai Lama says, if you have kindness in your heart, you will be happy. If you have kindness in your heart, others will be happy.
Wow. That's the perfect way to close this beautiful conversation. Dr. Bhante Saranapala, I am so honored to be your friend and to also support all of your beautiful ancient wisdom that you are spreading all over the world. And so grateful to have you sitting with me today on this beautiful day to chat about all things kindful and mindful Canada and the globe. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for having me on your podcast. This is the best way to spread the message, actually. So
Absolutely.
you're doing this because you're kindful. You're truly kindful, I believe.
Aw,
That's why you have thought about me to have this conversation, and through this conversation, you're also helping so many people.
that is my
So
wish. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. We work together in that wish. And
yeah,
so I want to say thank you to the audience. Thank you to all of my friends and all of our community that's watching today. I really truly from the bottom of my heart hope that you have taken some amazing nuggets. I hope that working through this conversation with Bhante that you're able to share some beautiful hope and bring kindfulness and mindfulness to whatever country that you were in. And just thank you so much for watching this awesome episode. All of the information that Bhante had sent will be in the show notes. So please, 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 I could tell you right now, it's been a huge impact in my life and a lot of my friends and my family being able to have Bhante as a source of hope and a source of belief. And so I hope that you enjoyed our show and we will catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, friends, thank you again for following and tuning in to the Lucy Smiles Living Room podcast. It really does truly support my mission to help inspire you through our beautiful guests that I also want to thank who have come on to share their beautiful stories of transformation. If you want to connect with me privately, you can actually go right to my website, lucysmiles.com. feel free to send to me a personal email. You can also catch my newsletter by subscribing, which also includes my weekly intuitive messages. If you're on social media, you can follow me with my handle, I am Lucy Smiles. And if this was inspiring to you and something helped support you on whatever the journey is that you are going through, please feel free to review, write a comment, and most importantly, if you can subscribe and share this episode and all our other episodes, that would be amazing. My dream and my mission is to truly help you to follow the magic that ignites your inner essence. And so until next time, we will catch you soon. I hope to catch you on the next episode.